What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? How is it going? Hope everybody's having a good Thursday, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are. Hope you all are doing well. Whew! Hype train already. Thank you, folks. I appreciate the support. Let's go. Let's see. All right, there's some activity here before I got on. Let me take a look at this activity real quick. Rudy, thank you for the 3 months of Jeff Bezos's bucks. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Chop, thank you for the 5 months. That's wild. Thank you for everything you do, moderation-wise as well. Alrighty. Let's see what else we got here. Crumb Hustler, thank you for the... What? 5 months at tier 3? Holy smokes. Thank you so much, Crumb. That's wild. I got to get you some new emotes. I got new emotes coming for you. I'm going to submit them this weekend. Tier 3, that's wild. Thank you so much. Whew. 5 months at tier 3 too. Wow. Thank you so much. I got some emotes coming for you. Pasta Lord with the hydration. Thank you so much. As you know, folks, I got the tea. I got the tea today, folks. Ooh. Ooh. The tea, folks. Ready to spill. Ready to spill. Deal. Thank you for the 5 months of Bezos bucks. That's wild. And of course, the raid with 42 folks. 42. The Bolical, thank you for the raid. Hope your stream went well. Folks, I said it last class. I'm going to keep saying it. If you got some time before this class, you're saying, hey, that homework was hard. Or that thing Leon covered last week, I'm not too sure about what that was. The Bolical streaming right before this stream, answering your questions. What if there was somebody from the community that was taking time out of their day to answer your questions? So if you got time before this stream, you should check out their stream. It's been going up. We had 29, then we going up higher. Now we're at 42. People are going because it's good. You're missing out. Next Tuesday, I want to see a raid of 50. Do me a solid. Get that raid to 50. I want to see 50 or above. 50 or above. The debacle. I want to see 50 or above on Tuesday coming over here. Cool. Did some code wars. Talked about some lookup tables. Woo, Stack Overflow, some problems. I love it. All right, folks, we got some heat tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the heat that was Tuesday. I put it all out there for you, folks. Anything I think that could be helpful to you in the job search, I put it on the line. We didn't get to everything, though. We had some stuff still left on the table that we need to talk about tonight. And then we're going to put it into practice. Sheenan, thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, folks. We do have a question. Crumb. Thank you so much, Crumb. Crumb Hustler with the 10 gifted subs to the community. Thank you so much. What? That's wild. That is wild. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support. I really do. For all those that know, it goes straight to the nonprofit I work at during the day, Resilient Coders. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. That's wild. Boom Kingston with the 5 months. Thank you so much. Woo! That hype train is going wild. Level 5. Huh. Thank you so much, everybody. We got some other... I don't know if y'all saw some of this other stuff that was here in chat. Dev Henry got 2 clients. $1,400. $1,400. What? Garrett Thor got 40 plus endorsements. Yes. Yes. 40 plus endorsements. You know what that's going to do? You know what that's going to do? Oops, sorry. Wrong one. You know what that's going to do is all those robots that are crawling, that are looking to send out their referral links to, their recommendation links to, all those robots are now going to be sniffing up Garrett Thor. I guarantee you're going to start seeing more activity on your LinkedIn because of that. That's wild. We're going to do it again tonight, folks. We're hacking the system. They can't keep us down. We're doing it again. So if you didn't get enough recommendations, they're coming through tonight. We're doing it again. I endorsed like 100 plus people today. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for doing that. Whew. Whew. All right, we did have a... Ooh, people got the Microsoft swag bag already? That's awesome. Hold on. I gotta see this. The Microsoft swag bag had a tote, a tee, a koozie, some cute GitHub cat stickers. What? That's wild. That's so cool, Pi. I'm glad you got that. All the folks should have been reached out to. You should have all been connected with Microsoft. All the stuff should be coming your way. That's awesome. And a Zune. That'd be hilarious. Whoa, that's so cool. We're talking about more sponsors tonight, folks. We're going to talk about a sponsor again tonight. The other stuff that's coming your way. I'm super excited. Whew. 100% of the level 5 hype train. Thank you so much, everybody. I got a good message there. We have the new stream team set up. I'll be talking about a little bit about that once we have more folks here. Once everybody shows up, we're going to talk about that. We're gonna get you some more support. Get some more folks that are streaming this wonderful 100 Devs content. Leon, have you ever had GitHub commits not show up on your page? Yes. Typically, your email's not correct. Like your Git config, your email's not set up correctly. That's almost universally the problem whenever my students say they're not seeing like their green squares or anything. Cool. It's just a recruiter, but since last class, I got someone trying to connect with me, telling me to apply for a job. Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go. Let's go. That's why we do it. That's why we do it. That's why last class was important. That's why the stuff we're going to talk about today is so important. It's a system, folks. It's a game. Some folks know how to play it and others don't. It's the hunt. You either know how to hunt or you don't. That's why when you see those folks that have the 400, 500 plus applications, they're not getting any nibbles back. It's because they're doing it wrong, folks. I gave you some cheat codes on how to do it right on Tuesday. I'm going to give you some more cheat codes today on how to do it right as well. But there's a game to be played, folks. And if you play it, good things start to happen. Good things start to happen. I've done a bunch of coding over the years. I've even helped tutor friends in 4th-year computer science courses, but I don't think I have enough experience to even get an interview. No way. Anyone can get an interview. Anyone here can get an interview without knowing how to code at all. That's it. Anyone can get an interview even without knowing how to code, if you know how to play the game. And so Tuesday's class was so important because it showed you all the little things that go into getting past that first sniff test that gets you into the actual interview. I can get it, but passing, hey, that's what the second half of the course is all about. We're going to talk about 2 strategies today that help you pass those interviews. We didn't get enough time at the end of last stream to go over it, so we're going to go over it tonight. Those 2 strategies are CAR and prep. These 2 strategies have gotten hundreds of folks jobs. Hundreds of folks have gotten jobs because of CAR and prep. And so we're going to learn about them tonight. We're going to digest them, and then we're going to practice them. So hopefully you're ready to get some practice in tonight, folks, because we gotta start getting this training going. Some of my friends here don't think they qualify as software engineers. Do you have any extra pep talk? If you write code, you are a software engineer. Full stop, no cap. Trains left the station. If you write code, you're a software engineer. If anybody else says otherwise, you know what we say? Chat, what do we say? Don't get banned. Don't get banned. Don't say it. Don't get banned. Don't say it. But if you write code, you're a software engineer. And if anybody else wants to tell you otherwise, fuck them. People are just don't get banned. I don't know if you're going to get timed out. We tell them to kick rocks. There we go. That's the PG version. I love getting banned. Alrighty, folks. Lots of stuff to get in tonight. I did have a question of the day, and I'm very curious to see your answer. The question of the day was, if one person or one company, one thing could sponsor your life, what would that thing, person, or company be? Could sponsor your life. Arizona iced tea. Tesla. Cannabis. Nice. Justin's peanut butter cups. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh. Chess.com. Bitcoin. Goya. Little Caesars. Nintendo, that's a good one. Casper mattress. Warren Buffett. GameStop. To the moon. Costco, that's a good one. Wow, we were getting wild for a second. Sorry. Wizards of the Coast. Ooh. Nike, that's a good one. Charles Schwab. Good. Oh, Microsoft. Hey, let's go. Microsoft. SpaceX? That'd be dope. I just want to see the Nintendo theme park in Japan. My dog. I love it. I love it. These are great. These are great. Cheese, please. I saw your message. Your email was off by one letter. I'm glad we got it figured out. Diet Mountain Dew, the drink of champions. That's probably one of my favorite videos online. Is Shaun White is doing an interview post winning the gold at the Olympics, and the interviewer is saying, "Hey, did you get any special treatment?" And Shaun White goes, "Yeah, we were on the plane. We were, they were looking at the medal. I was getting free drinks." And the interviewer goes, "Wait a minute, free drinks? You're 19. You can't drink yet." And he goes, "Without skipping a beat." He goes, "Without skipping a beat." I'm talking Mountain Dews, baby. Talking Mountain Dews. I thought that was the smoothest. That was probably the smoothest recovery I've ever seen live. It's talking Mountain Dews. Plugged their sponsor on national television. It became one of the most watched things after the Olympics. Whew. It's what plants crave. All right, folks. We're going to get into some stuff tonight. We got 2 or 3 really important topics that we didn't get to last time that we have to cover. And then we are getting our practice in. We're getting the practice of this car and prep stuff in tonight. We will not leave tonight without you practicing some car or some prep. So we're going to get into it. We got some important announcements, some fun stuff to get through. Let's get it. I'm going to chill the music here. There we go. All right. Whoo! All right, so stuff to get through. Let's get into it. We had some questions coming in first already. Last class, I said that ! ask was active. It is still active tonight. There were like 10 or so questions that got asked that we just ran out of time on. So before we move to Remo this evening, before we get some of our one-on-one practice up, I'm going to go through those questions. So if you have questions specifically related to this job search stuff or the hunt in the beginning, you can use !ask to get that Google form, and I'll make sure I run through all those questions before we're over. So if you have questions tonight, always feel free to ask them here in Twitch chat, but I'll make sure I go through that entire form before class is over. Cool. Alrighty, folks. No class tomorrow. There is no class Friday. I know everyone's moaning. Oh no. No class tomorrow. I got a vaccine appointment, folks. I got a vaccine appointment. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to go outside. I really can't wait to go outside. So I'm taking, as soon as I got one, I'm taking it, and it's tomorrow during class time. So I'm skipping all the way there with my mask on, but I am super, super excited. But unfortunately, no class tomorrow because of it. So I'm gonna be going getting my vaccine tomorrow. So no class Friday, and then we have our mega review on Sunday. So if you feel a little behind, if you want to review some concepts before we jump into backend, Sunday's class is for you. It's going to be fun. We're going to have lots of examples, things that we might not have thought about for a little while, all going to be during that class. It's going to be a long class too, about 6 hours. We'll, of course, take all of our healthy breaks, but you don't want to miss it. If you have friends that have been saying, hey, this coding thing you've been doing for a while, that looks neat, tell them to come to class on Sunday here on Twitch. If you wanted to, I don't know, say maybe you got some enjoyment out of this class, you thought you've learned some things, and you wanted to spread the love, maybe a tweet or a email to that friend you know that's always been interested in code, tonight is the night to do that, because on Sunday we are having the review of all review, so that anyone that comes Sunday is ready to jump into backend with us. These 7-month ones are wild. Okayla, thank you so much for the 7 months. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Cool. So, Sunday, mega review. Don't miss it. Even if you're feeling comfortable, come to the review. Come hang out. Come ask questions. Let's get a little funky with it. And then next week, remember, we have a fresh start. Next week, we're getting ready for the back end. We got a fresh start. All has been forgiven. Someone just like ran into the desk. Are you all right, Puppos? Yeah, you okay? All right. All has been forgiven. You have a fresh start. And I hope you use it. Come to the review on Sunday, and we will get into it. Next week, back end. On Tuesday, we're going to be covering some of the last fun stuff of JavaScript. We're going to be getting into callbacks, async await, promises, and the event loop so that we can get ready to really understand the benefit of Node. On Thursday, you will have written your first full stack application. All right. On Thursday, you will have built a server that serves up real code. You will have built a very simple but full stack application by the end of class on Thursday. So, Sunday, a mega review. Tuesday, the last bastion of JavaScript. We got our callbacks, our async await, our promises, and the event loop. And then Thursday, folks, I'm ready for it. Full stack web development. Let's go. Remember, networking comes back this week. I want one coffee chat. Get me a coffee chat, please. You're adding all these folks on Twitter. You've been doing all this work. Get a coffee chat. Bring that networking back in. Whole stack, we don't half stack around here. I agree. All right. Bring back the networking. Get me a coffee chat, please. Client deadline is next week. Please get me a client. If you can't get me a client, get me a grassroots organization that you're volunteering for. If you can't get that, get me an open source project that you're committing to. Remember, we're doing this because it's going to help us get a job. We're going to use this when we go into those interviews to pass the sniff test. And so we need these things. And so make sure if you have some time this weekend and you haven't got one of those 3, that you put in the time this weekend to get one of those 3 done. Alrighty. No half stacking. Remember, we're about to embark on the bank, which is one of the most important pieces of the hunt. And you need to be doing your spaced repetition. Make sure your Anki is popping off. Make sure you get all your new cards in. Make sure you are getting some time in each day that you're just setting aside, just a half hour. Get through those Anki decks. Make sure you're not forgetting the questions from the bank. We have the Anki on Discord group, 3 p.m. every day. You should hang out, review your Anki decks on Discord. It's a whole lot of fun. Get in there. Have some fun doing your review. Reviewing and going through Anki is so much better with friends. Every weekday. So much better with friends. And if you're on the weekend wanting to do it, just pop into a voice channel. Maybe put in 100 Devs General. I'm about to do some Anki review, and then pop into a voice channel. Maybe folks will join you. It's always more fun with friends, folks. Always more fun with friends. All right. We had some folks that are creating decks. I saw on the Ask Leon channel, somebody posted a deck today. Make sure if you want to see other folks' decks, you can take a look at them. If you want to contribute to a GitHub repo that answers all of the questions, we're setting that up after stream. So there are pre-made decks already. There's going to be a JSON file that has answers to all the questions already. Like I said last class, I think there's a lot of benefit in digging through all the answers on your own, learning about all the accessory things. But if you want a little bit of a cheat cut, a little bit of a shortcut, those are things that I saw posted in the community. And we'll make sure that you have it. All right. YOLO. What's up, Rockefeller? Alrighty, folks. Man, just doing the bank feels like studying for law exams all over again. Hey, this is a profession too. You want to be a software engineer? You skip 4 years of university. Put in the time to get through those 300 questions, folks. Alrighty. Cheat codes / short codes, exactly. This don't come for free. Class is free, but the work and the effort you got to put in, that definitely ain't free in time. You got to put in the work, folks. Make sure you're doing your Anki. Alrighty. We have the stream team, folks. The stream team is for folks that are part of the 100 Devs community that want to stream 100 Devs related content. You all saw Diabolical. You saw the streams they've been putting on that have been helping folks in our community. If you too would like to join the stream team, help other folks in our community, and do it live, there's a Google form for you right there. Go ahead and grab that form, give me your info, and I'll reach out to you, and we'll set up a time to talk about it. Cool. My goal with the stream team is that we have a channel now for stream team. In the 100 Dev section, there's a stream team channel. You can turn on notifications on just that channel, right? And what happens is whenever somebody on the stream team goes live, you'll see their message and you can join them live. So I recommend, if you want to know when other folks that are on the stream team go live, you go to that channel, you go to notifications, and you can turn on all the messages. And so you'll get my messages when I go live from the whole Discord. And then anytime somebody goes live in the stream team, you'll see that they've gone live as well. And we'll limit it so that folks only post one message each day that they go live. So you're not getting inundated with messages, but you can see what they're streaming that day, what they're going over, what they're reviewing, what they're doing in the open, right? because one of the best ways to learn is to do it in the open. One of the best ways to learn is to teach. The things I've gotten better at has always been because I have taught them. And so if you're interested in doing stuff live and joining the illustrious team that includes myself and Diabolical to help folks of our community, go ahead and sign up. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you. Does it have to be 3 hours? No, you do whatever you want. There's a few rules that we have that I talk you through, but other than that, it's just about keeping our community inclusive, keeping our community together. Other than that, you do what you want, and you share what you want on that day. No need to do anything special. Yeah. There you go. App Eternal Student. The Diabolical is the dude to go with your coding challenges, everybody. I agree. You got some coding challenges you want to work through? That's one of their specialties. Before this stream, they're normally streaming. And you can know when they're always streaming by checking out the Stream Team channel. Cool. Like I said, my goal is to help uplift other folks in our community. We're pretty big now, folks. We got 3,000 plus people on that Discord. We got 300 plus folks that are turning out to these streams on a regular basis. Let's get some other folks supported, and let's get some of your questions answered and have some fun. Do whatever you would like. Don't have to do coding challenges. I think just doing stuff in the open, it can be a big value to other folks to see the decisions you make, how you make them, things like that. How about Blog Team? Blog is coming. I will be sharing a bunch of stuff next week. A bunch of GitHub repos are going up this weekend where you can start contributing to the blog, where you can start contributing to our actual website. So more info on all that stuff's coming next week. All right. Newsletter. I share all the goods in the newsletter first. The reason why is because the newsletter open rates are what sponsors love. So I make sure that I put the goodies in the newsletter so that you feel incentivized to open the newsletter because that's one of the things that our sponsors really love. They love that we get really high open rates. We got a couple thousand people on that newsletter. So if you're not on the newsletter, definitely join. I put all the good links in there first. And I've hinted at it before, but I'm working on a video about the best laptop if you are just getting into code. So the cheapest laptop that can do everything you need it to do. I've been scrolling through eBay for weeks now. Finally got one. It got delivered a couple of days ago. I'm making a video on that whole process, how you get it to the point where it can work on any of the code that you need to get a job, keeping it under $100. And then I'm going to go ahead and give out that laptop to the community. So if you are interested in maybe a free laptop, join the newsletter. I'm going to share how to get it there first. Alrighty. We have 2 Pokemon drawings that we got to get through. Bilal redeemed one yesterday. On Tuesday. And I promised one to FET that I haven't gotten to yet because they answered something during class. So let's go ahead. Let's grab this math.seal. Let's open up our inspector. We're going to do FET first. I got you. All right. FET, this is for you. JK FET, this is for you. 3, 2, 1. 13. All right. Let's see what 13 was. 13 was a Typhlosion. Woo! A Typhlosion. This is a very popular card. It was part of one of the competitive meta decks a couple years ago. Goes for a pretty penny, a couple bucks there. Look at that. That's nice. So I'm going to go ahead on my end and update this sheet because Typhlosion, I actually have 4 of them because it was part of a competitive deck. So I've edited that to 3. Nice. So we don't have to change the numbers or anything. We can go right back and run it again. Blah, this one is for you. So we're going to go ahead and do blah. So let's go ahead and run it back, folks. How do you open up Inspector? Right click and then inspect. All right, let's do another one. This is for Blah. This is going to you. 9. Ooh, big numbers, high numbers. Let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, this is one of the legendary double cards, and it's the top. Oh, one of the legendary tops. I believe somewhere in my collection I have the bottom. I don't know where it is. I have to dig through a bunch of stuff. But Blah has mod perks. So if you're getting the top, that's definitely coming your way. But I'm going to try and dig out the bottom, and I'll send that your way too. So let me go ahead and remove this from the list here. That's coming your way, Blah. Nice. And then we had one more come in. Accordionet came in. Let's go ahead and run Accordionnets while we're here. We got to change this to 76 now. And 3, 2, 1. Accordionet, here you go. 43. Let's take a look. What do you got? Ooh, a Reshiram. I love that card. It's a great card. Coming your way. I'm going to update this so that it is not 3 anymore. Now it is 2. Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations, everyone. If you too would like to use your channel points to get Pokemon cards, all you have to do is click on the little Micro Leon at the bottom left, and you can YOLO your channel points for some great cards, folks. For some great cards. Tempt it. Poke looking mighty tasty, but OnlyFans too appealing. Well, see, the thing is, folks, these Pokemon cards are just skyrocketing in value. Just absolutely skyrocketing in value. Oh, we had 2 hydrates. Fox, I apologize. Cheers to you, Fox. Thank you for the hydration. And Pasta Tofu, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Oh, yeah. Pokemon Retirement Index. That's funny. Ooh, Angel got a Pokemon card. All right, Angel, I got you. Let's go. I got you, fam. Let's go. All right. That Reshiram. We just did the Reshiram, right? That was 43. And we just reduced it. So we can run the same number again. So we're going to run it back for Angel so they can get their... Alrighty. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do this. 3, 2, 1. 22. Whew. Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek. Oh, Cracked Ice Hollow. This card looks beautiful. This card looks beautiful. This is a beautiful looking card. Coming your way. Coming your way. I'm going to take it off the list. For folks that got their cards today, you got to send me a DM on Discord. You got to send me a DM on Discord. When you send me that DM, please put your address so that I can send you the card. Jersey Boss Babe. Hi, Devs. Hey, thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. All right, I'm going to take this off the list here. It's a beautiful looking card. Alrighty, folks. Thank you for playing. Let's keep it moving. Jersey Boss Babe, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. 5 months in a row. Whew. Alrighty, folks. We have a raffle that is live. We have a raffle that is live, folks. I'm going to give everybody a few seconds to get in here. Exclamation point raffle. As you know, the Xbox... Sorry, not the Xbox. The Microsoft swag packages have gone out. Folks are already getting them. As you know, I'm doing international swag packs that were given away during that sponsor stream as well. And folks, we got stuff coming in. It's been coming in droves. I'm just flush with Leon. Learn with Leon swag. So it's all been coming in. The last thing that we're waiting on are some of these really cool stickers. So if you got the international swag package last time, you got some really cool stuff coming your way, including some stickers. So tonight I'm going to give away one of those stickers. Let's go ahead and do the sticker raffle. Keep it open for another second here. Alrighty. Exclamation point raffle in chat. Get you in here. It is open. I'm going to let it be open for another few seconds here. 10 more seconds. 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. All right. Let's go ahead and I'm going to close the entries here. And we are going to pick a winner. 3, 2, 1. Oh, Rossi. Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. Let's go. Oh, Rossi, make sure you click that link there in chat. That way you can redeem it. If you missed the link, don't worry. I can send it to you. Just DM me. Congrats. Whoa, that's wild. Let's go. Rossi, always appreciate the support. Glad the sticker's going your way. These stickers, folks, people always ask for the stickers. Leon, where can I get the stickers? How can I get a sticker? I'm saving the stickers for the next sponsored stream. Next sponsored stream is going to be part of the swag package, and I'm going to do these one-off raffles every once in a while for stickers. I'm never going to put the stickers as part of a merch drop. You can only get them through the raffles, and that's the way I'm going to keep it. Oh. All right. That also leads us to our next sponsored stream. Our next sponsored stream is in 2 weeks. Sorry, 3 weeks. In 3 weeks. Our next sponsored stream is in 3 weeks. It's going to be on Tuesday. And hold on, can I 10-second warning. 10-second warning. Next sponsor stream, 3 weeks. 10-second warning. Microsoft's coming back, y'all. Microsoft's doing it again. Microsoft's coming back, but way bigger. Way bigger. Microsoft is coming back, but way bigger. Way bigger. Whew, it's gonna be big. Sponsor stream, 3 weeks from now. Will you be here? Yes, you'll be here. Let's go. So in 3 weeks, Microsoft is coming back. They loved what you all did online. The retweets, the likes, the opening of the newsletter, the going through the call to action link that they shared. We destroyed it. Like, destroyed it. For a community of our size, we destroyed it. And so they came back and they upped it. They upped it. I was like, hey, you know what? We're getting into back-end web development. We're getting into back-end web development. And I said, you know what? Some folks are going to be doing some full stack projects that they're going to, you know, they're gonna need maybe some server resources. Maybe their project's gonna be really big and need some server resources. And Microsoft was like, I got you. They're like, I got you, fam. I got you. And so Microsoft said, hey, how about we give away 20 $100 Azure credits? 20 $100 in Azure credit. For your projects that you'll be building, that $100 will fuel your projects for the next 2+ years, right? So if you've ever wanted to develop on Azure, you can, and they're giving away 20 $100 credits. Now we're doing it again. We're doing it again. What does that mean? That means that you can use Azure servers to build your applications for free. So that's wild. These cloud credits are hard to come by. Microsoft is like, we love what you're doing. Keep it up. Hunyan, hey, thank you for the 5 months. 5 months. Wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Whew. So they're coming back. $2,100 in Azure credit. That'll fuel your projects for a long time. They're coming back. They're doing 10 more Microsoft swag packages. 10 more Microsoft swag packages. I'm putting on top of that 10 international swag packages as well. And they're funding our startup. The startup we're about to buy, they're throwing a huge chunk of change at it. Huge chunk of change at it. So not only do we got the Azure credit, not only do we have the swag, but we're buying a company, folks, and that company's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm super excited. I hope you're excited. In 3 weeks' time, Microsoft's coming back. They're putting all that credit on the line. They're putting the swag on the line. They're supporting this community and buying our first company. So it's lit, folks. 10-second warning. I just need to dance a little bit. 10-second warning. Woo! Let's go, baby. I see y'all. Give me a shoulder. Give me the shoulders. Not too much. Give me the shoulders. Microsoft sponsorship, baby. Let's go. Coming back. Hey, let's go. Because of you. Let's go. I'm doing the Uzi shoulder. I missed the hydration, MGZ. Hey, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. All right, folks. Now, the reason folks are coming back and giving tens of thousands of dollars to this community, the reason sponsors are coming and giving tens of thousands of dollars to this community is because you're amazing. You all are. Every single time you check in, ! Check in. Every single time you open that newsletter, every single time you come to stream, they see that, they want to support that. And that's why we're here. That's why we're able to do the things that we do, because you show up, put in the work. So if you haven't already, ! Check in, do me a solid, give it a retweet, give it a like. It's so simple, but these sponsors see this and they like, whoa, we want to be a part of that. So I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all keep showing up, keep putting in the hard work, and we're going to get there together. And we got more coming soon. I got another sponsor that we're going to be announcing soon too. But hey, all right, folks, I appreciate you. Let's get into it tonight. I told y'all last stream, you have a decision to make. Last class on Tuesday, I said you have a decision to make, and it's an important decision. The decision is, are you ready to hunt? Are you ready to hunt? Are you ready to put in the work? Are you ready to do the things that you know you need to do? Are you going to do the things that we know are going to get you a job? I don't want you in a couple months from now going, I wish I would have done it. I don't want you a year from now seeing the other folks from our community in great jobs saying, I wish I just would have done my Anki a little bit more. I wish I would have studied the bank a little bit more. Gotta make that decision. And I hope that you say, I'm ready. I'm ready to hunt. I'm ready to go beast mode, because that's what it takes. The skills are a part of it, but it's this process that has been proven time and time and time again to get folks jobs. Everyone here right now has the ability to get a job. If you've been coding along, if you've been doing the work, you have the ability to get a job. I have seen people get jobs with just the skills you have right now. We still have a whole nother half of program. I have seen people get jobs with just the skills you have. The nonprofit I work at during the day, Resilient Coders, our boot camp used to be half the length, and folks got jobs. Now, it's not the skills. I really need you to understand this. The skills are a piece. Yes, once we get in front of the nerds and we got to get through those challenges, it's a piece. But this process, this journey, the hunt that you're about to go on is the difference maker between a few applications with good results or 400 with no results. If you are behind, come to class on Sunday. I will get you caught up. Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, here. Everything that you need, I will go over on Sunday before we embark into the back end. Okay? But I can't make that. As much as I want to make that decision for you, I can't make it for you. We know that software engineering pays well, has time and time again been ranked as one of the happiest careers. I want that for you. I want you to wake up and not hate your job. I want you to wake up and know that you're well paid. I want you to wake up and know that your bills are going to be covered. I want that for you. And so I hope you've made that decision already. I hope you said, you know what? I'm ready to go. I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready to hunt. Because if you are, I'm going to do every single thing in my power to get you across that finish line. Every single thing I can do, I'm going to do to make sure you get across that finish line. So, make the decision. And I'm here to support. All right. I got some messages from last stream. I got some people that weren't too happy. I can't put them on. I really wanted to put people on blast, but it's TOS. It's TOS. People are like, Leon, you can't do that. You can't do that. I was like, well, watch me. Watch us. Watch us do it and get past your gatekeeping ass and get a job. Watch us. Watch us do it. Just because you went to a 4-year degree program and then you trolled around for 5 years at a company that didn't respect you doesn't mean folks can't get this done in a free 30-week program. Because we're going to do it. We've already got one. So first of all, full stop, shut the fuck up. Already happened. Already got one. So go fuck yourself. Already got one. I'm going to have to start censoring this stuff for YouTube. YouTube hates this stuff. Already got one. So out of here. You can take your gate, pack it up. I hope it's a foldable gate. I hope it's like one of the child-proof ones. You can just like squeeze it together, put it in your backpack, and get the step in. Because we already got one. In the wise words of Daddy Yankee, kick rocks. So, we're already making folks angry. And I'm going to say it again. I'm going to show you how to play the game. It's up to you how you want to play it, where your consciousness lies, and what you feel is what you need to do to get a job. But I know if I was laid off, went into a pandemic, and I was ready to eat by any means necessary, I don't care what you, your gait, and your backpack have to say, I'm going right past you. Fuck you. Let's do this. We already made him angry. We're not finna. What's the what's the past tense of finna? Chat. Put in chat. What's the past tense of finna? Finst, funna, funna, dinner, find, dunna, fontana, dunna. Yeah, finna, dunna. We dunna made some nerds angry. We already done did that. They came to get, they got. We done did that. All right. Please, if you're here, especially if you're new and you weren't here on Tuesday's class, if you weren't here, please grab the checklist. Please grab the checklist. It has everything that you need that you have to go through. I'm asking you to do it this weekend. There's even like things you can check off. Imagine that. Like you can literally check off the checklist. Whew. You can check off the checklist. Check it off. Some things we didn't talk about last week that are on here. Highly recommend that you have a Chrome profile. Like, see how I have this profile here? I have a profile just for teaching, right? So that way, like, my history and stuff doesn't show up while I'm streaming, right? You can have a profile that's just for the job hunt, that will have its own kind of bookmarks, that will have its own pin stuff. And I highly recommend installing the Grammarly extension. It's completely free. They do have like a paid version. I don't trust them. That's why I say put it on like a special profile. Because what Grammarly does, it reads every single thing that you type and gives you like way better grammar or words or things like that. So not that they could be a great company. I don't know. But I have them on just a special profile where it can read all the things I type. So as you're sending emails, as you're sending your LinkedIn connections, as you are doing all of these things that require great grammar, Grammarly is a really great tool to have installed because it's going to help you finesse your words. And so this is like another cheat code right here. If you don't have Grammarly installed, do it. It's going to make your emails, it's going to make everything stand out. Cool. I also mentioned Buffer for your social media posting. Highly recommend it just to kind of get some stuff up there. Like if you don't want to be posting every day, you can use Buffer to kind of just do it regularly. All the other things that are on here are important. Things about your portfolio, things about your resume. It's a literal checklist, folks. Make sure you have it. There's templates for your resume, other places you can use them. Things that you should be putting on your LinkedIn, the 100 Devs group that you should be in. All this stuff is here for you, folks, for your perusal. One thing we didn't talk about with LinkedIn that is really, really super important. Whenever you add someone on LinkedIn, you should always send a message. Never just add someone on LinkedIn. Tell them where you met them, how you know them, why you're sending them a connection request. Folks that send messages with their requests get more connections. Right? Is having the open to work tag on LinkedIn lame? It feels lame. I don't think it's lame. I think that there's probably some stuff happening on LinkedIn's end that helps folks like recruiters find you. So if your LinkedIn is set up right and you've put software engineer at 100 devs on there, you've put your skills, your Node, your React, your JavaScript, your other skills that you might have, if you put them on there, that's going to have recruiters starting to find you and reach out to you. So it's important. Should we make a separate Twitter to retweet this class every week so we can get rid of the bootcamp stink? Nobody's really going to dig through your Twitter. So I think we'll chill the likes and the retweets towards the end of program. So as you're in the hunt, you don't have to worry about that. So I want to create a separate one. It just seems like a lot more work. but nobody's going to dig through it. Mainly people are going to look at your Twitter and see the 100 devs thing and go through that. Like they're just trying to see what mainly people are just going to see what your portfolio is like. Good question though. I read an article that it sets the tone to what I'm not sure what you're talking about here. Oh, I see. We're talking about the LinkedIn thing. I read an article that it sets the tone to lowball you with your offers because you look desperate and they don't know if I agree or not. I don't know. I would try it out. Let's try it out. I haven't seen any research on it yet that says that like it does help you get more or less offers, but I would try it for a little while, like maybe like right now, like literally put it on now. And see if you start getting some interest. And if you don't, turn it off and see if you get interest that way. You still got some time left to kind of A/B test this thing. I would try it for now. I say put it on. Let's see if we get some more bots coming our way for the first couple weeks. And if you're not seeing any bots coming, then we might change it. Yeah. I get in-mails daily for software jobs, but it's all just recruiters. Great. You should have a boilerplate response to all those recruiters. Hey, here's exactly what I'm looking for, when I'll be looking for it, and you should just be blasting that out every single time a recruiter talks to you. Just noticed a recruiter messaged me on LinkedIn from all the recent 100 devs activity. Yes, we're hacking the system, folks. We're tipping the scales in your favor, and it's working. I'm good at negotiating. Can I help? Yeah, when we get there, we would love that help. Somebody messaged me to give a lecture. Hell yeah, let's go. I'm telling you, it works. Sam, open the work, close to BS. I like that. Cool. GitHub. Remember, we're making ours fancy. Make sure you have software engineer in your description. You want the robots to find you. Twitter, we talked about already. And then cover letter and email, you'll be working on it. So it's important, folks. Keep showing that. Grab the checklist. Exclamation point checklist in here in chat. We'll always have the link to grab the checklist. It's important that you work through it. And I'm asking you to work through it this weekend. All right. Remember, all the stuff we're doing, there's kind of 2 steps to this process. The first step is passing the initial sniff, typically from a recruiter or whatever gate person is there to stop you from actually interviewing at the company. And all the things we're doing are trying to pass this first sniff test so that we can get to the nerds. Because once we get to the nerds, once we get to the engineers, then it's can you code and do I want to work with you for the next 2 years? So last class on Tuesday, we really talked about kind of the getting past this first sniff test. All the little things that you should be putting into action so you get past that sniff. Tonight, we're going to be talking more about once you get to the nerds, how do you do it? How do you do this whole process? How do you do the whiteboarding? How do you do the behavioral questions? How do you do all of these things that are there to stop you from getting the offer? That's what we're talking about tonight. All the tips, tricks, and methods that you need so that when you're in the interview, you know what to do. And the thing we have to do, folks, is we have to start practicing it now. We want this to be the default for our existence. When someone asks us a question, we answer them using CAR. When we are doing our code wars, we answer them using prep. It becomes who you are, a lean, mean, interviewing machine on the hunt. You get me? You feel me on that? That's what we're doing. This practice starts now. It starts now. With the stuff that we did last class, you can get past the first sniff. After tonight, you're going to be successful in your first rounds of interviewing. Why do they frown upon people who work at a boot camp or who have graduated from a boot camp? Because the quality's not there, my folks. The quality is not there. So many of these companies are pumping out graduates that don't even have a GitHub profile, that are pumping out graduates that can't do basic JavaScript. and they paid 20 grand for a certificate, and they show up to the door with their certificate, and the interviewer is like, we saw 15 other people with that certificate. It means nothing. So there's a stink about us because they're comparing us against other boot campers. But we demolished that stink last class. If you did everything from that last class and you're working on it over this weekend, you have removed the stink. The stink has come off. The stink has been removed. Right? The stink has been taken away. Let's put that back on there. Put that back on there. Now we're talking about, all right, now we're doing everything we need to be doing, so the stink's not there. Now we've made it to some nerds. How can we demonstrate to them that we can code? And how can we demonstrate that we want to work with them for the next 2 years, that we can work with them well for the next 2 years? Because I'm telling you what, folks, most people wake up like an accident, right? We've talked about making sure you plan out your days and your weeks. So if most people are just waking up like an accident, I can guarantee you most people are going into interviews like an accident. Maybe they get past the stink. They get past that first person, that recruiter. They make it into the interview and they haven't done any of the work that they needed to have done before they showed up for that interview. Most people that I have interviewed, most people I know from the hiring partners I talk to on a daily basis, what they tell me is that most people show up like an accident. They are not prepared. They are not lean, mean, interviewing machines on the hunt, but you will be. You will be. You will be. All right, folks. We're at the top of the hour. Remember, we're software engineers for the long run. We're not software engineers for the day. We're here for this to be our career, so we have to stay healthy. We're going to take our break. When we come back from our break, we're doing quick review and then getting into into prep. The things that are going to be the way that we just move, the way that we act in all situations, because we're just those lean, mean machines. So we're going to take our break. We're going to put 5 minutes on the clock, and then we're going to come back and jump into this stuff that's going to help you. Once you get past that first round, the things that are going to help you stand out in the interview, the things that you should be practicing every day, so that a couple weeks from now, a couple months from now, when you're in that interview situation, you just do it. True story, I dropped out of a 30K ISA bootcamp during buyer's remorse period and joined Leon. Leon has blown them out of the water. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's go ahead and get our timer going. All right. I got the timer geared up. Let's get it on the screen. 5 minutes, folks. 5 minutes. Alrighty. If you're able to, get up, stretch, hydrate, do what you need to do. Legit ordering Domino's for tonight. Hey, tell them Leon sent you. Just put that like on the order request. Leon sent me. All right, folks, let's get some break music going. If you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. We're running a 30-week boot camp completely free. Trying to get you a job. Destroyer, you just redeem the channel points and then send me a DM and we'll set up a time. Love that you do this, Leon. Instilling confidence and feeling passion. Let's go, my dude. Hey, let's go. Adil, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. If you're able to, please take a break. Destroyer, send me a DM. We'll set up that time to review. Should I learn Linux to help my chances with a job? Doesn't hurt. I don't think you have to go super deep into it, but knowing the basics of a good new Linux system can be helpful. Just because it teaches you things like package management and other stuff that are helpful down the line. But it's not the thing I would super focus on. Do you have the spreadsheet for job headhunting? What do you? Oh, the actual sheet. Did I make a channel? I'm not sure if I put a channel command for that. No, but I can give you the link to the sheet right now. 1 second. Let me pull that up for you. Alexia Dunn. Hey, thank you for the Prime. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. I believe the sheet's actually in the... hold on, let me move this out my way here. It's in the slides, too. So let's just grab it from the slides real quick. Or did I remove it from the slides? Oh, I removed it from this one. Hold on 1 second. I'll grab it. Let me grab it for you. Sorry, folks. I'm going to grab that sheet while everybody's on break. I'm just going to set this up as a channel command here. Copy link. All right, setting it up. Boom. All right, there we go. You can now do exclamation point sheet, SHEET, and it will pop up for you. About 2 minutes left, folks. I have a mentor who is a junior backend dev at Adobe. We talk every 2 weeks. It's their first time as a mentor and my first time as a mentee. Any tips what I should be talking to them about to keep fostering this relationship? Find something they're interested in. I think one of the things that folks kind of mess up first when they're kind of in a new mentor-mentee relationship is give some value back. If they're giving you value, they're giving you code review, they're doing all this stuff for you, go ahead and figure out a way to give them value back. And it doesn't have to be anything. It could be like, you know that they're really into Pokemon and you saw that the new Pokemon game was announced. So you send them an email saying, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you do for me. Have you seen this new Pokemon game that came out? You're providing a little bit of value. That's all you got to do. I think that's one of the things you can do. Elf burn, for sure. Debacle. That's wild. I was setting up that sheet. I really wanted to set up sheet. That's funny. Some people put it in chat. I think I want my 100 hours project to be something for education. Not sure where to find ideas though. What do you wish was easier for you to learn? That's where I would start. Hey Leon, what are your thoughts on Vim? Do you personally use Vim? I use it when I have to. I use Emacs like on my personal machines and stuff, but I've been trying out Spacemacs, which is like Vim inside of Emacs. And then of course I use Atom and VS Code on stream. I think it's just easier for folks to follow along with. Alrighty, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you all had a good break. Let's get into this. I'm gonna move this out the way. Out the way now. Alrighty. Hope you had a good break. Hope you were able to hydrate. Hope you were able to kiss some babies. Come on back. Let's get into it. Hey, when everyone is back, can you let some of the people on here know that they have their LinkedIn privacy settings in a way that we cannot connect with them and therefore cannot endorse them? Yeah, you're going to want to make sure that your privacy settings are set up so folks can find you. Pass another one of you on the Code Wars during break. Exclamation point clan, CLAN, if you want to join our 100 devs clan on Code Wars. All right, folks, let's come back. Let me go back to the slides. I'm going to chill the music here. All right. Thank you for being you. Let's get into it. I did not realize I was dead last until a few days ago. Alrighty. Let's keep it moving. We talked about some key things that I just want to re-emphasize, and I want to take some time to hack the system again. We're going to hack the system again tonight, folks. People are already seeing benefit. We did this less than 2 days ago, and people are already seeing benefit from this. This is wild. It blows my mind. It's the cheat codes, folks. This is literally the cheat codes. We talked about your Twitter. Remember I said 50 engineers, where you will be applying. Somebody asked in the Ask Leon channel on Discord, how do I find folks that are in my area? And what I do, which I think is one of the best ways to do it, is just use like a city hashtag. Like if you live in Boston, do hashtag Boston, and then some other tag like tech or software or something like that. And what that'll do is it'll hopefully find posts about your city and tech. Now, when you search for Boston and tech, you're not going to find people that are software engineers. What you're going to find are like typically like companies posting or like other bigger organizations posting. But what you want to do is you want to go into those comments. You want to go into those retweets, those likes, and find the folks that are in that area that are like retweeting and liking and stuff like that, because this is twofold. One, they're people that actually retweet and like. So that means if they follow you back, they are more likely to engage with your stuff. Also, they're probably more active. So they're going to see more of their things as they're posting, and it leads to a better chance of you building a relationship. Remember, we are not just going and adding 50 people just because it's fun. We're doing it so that we can actually connect and engage. And when it comes time to apply, these folks will recommend us for a job. Because remember, these engineers get really fat referral bonuses, so they throw them out willy-nilly. It doesn't have to be somebody you have like a really close relationship with. It could be somebody that you're Twitter friends with that will recommend you to a position, and that gets you past that first round interview. What? If you just use Twitter, you can get past first round interviews. That's it. Use Twitter, like, retweet some stuff, and you will get past first round interviews more often. We're only following software engineers or other people in tech. I think starting with software engineers is a good first step. And then just because you'll have more stuff to commiserate with, you'll be able to talk more about the tech stuff that you're working on. You can maybe talk a little bit more about the things you're coding in open, right? But if you want to expand your search as well, it doesn't hurt to add some folks that you think might be hiring managers, folks that you think might be some recruiters here and there. Yeah. Do they get a bonus if we get hired? They do. I have seen anywhere from like $1,000 bonus to a $30,000 bonus. I have seen someone get a $30,000 bonus for referring someone. But yeah, but only if you get hired. Yeah, only if you get hired. Yeah. So think about this. Think about this. Holy smokes. Think about this, folks. Think about this. There are some engineers that are getting $10,000, $20,000 when somebody gets hired. So if you just click apply and you did not get a recommendation or a referral when the engineer is going to get 20 grand, do you think you're getting past that first round interview? Let's be real. Let's be real. If the engineers make 20 grand referring people, do you not think the queue is stacked with referrals? The queue is stacked with referrals. And so if you're just clicking apply, you're not even that's not even making it to that stack. It's not even making it to that stack. Not even making it to that stack. Right? So I think like when I start talking about this stuff, people just don't know this. That like, look, you're going an uphill battle if you just click apply, because you're going up against folks that have been recommended. All right. Oh my God, I just realized my first job was through a referral. I remember when somebody got hired at Starbucks, the person who referred me got $100 bonus. Love it. Love it. Love it. Should we call ourselves software engineers or full stack engineers on LinkedIn? Software engineer. Definitely call yourself a software engineer. You can put that you do like full stack web development somewhere else in the profile, but you want to call yourself a software engineer. Cool. LinkedIn. If you haven't already, you can do ! LinkedIn. That is our 100 devs group. What I want to do is I want to do another round. We've already seen people doing this to great success. I want to do another round. If you haven't joined the 100 devs group, you should right now. Click that link or do ! LinkedIn in chat. That's the link to our group. Join our group. I want everyone right now to go into the group and connect with 5 people. Connect with 5 people. And the people that you connect with, you're going to endorse them for JavaScript, React, and Node. So that means you have to have JavaScript, React, and Node as part of your profile. And we're going to go in and endorse you. You can never have too many endorsements. You can never have too many. Can never have too many. Can we add you? So you can, but I typically do not add folks that I don't add students until they graduate. So that's kind of like the thing. I typically don't add student connections until they graduate. If you're doing some awesome stuff, right? Like you saw, I added like Diabolical. If you're part of the stream team, of course I'll add you, but most folks I don't add until you graduate. So that's just kind of my thing. All right, we're gonna take 5 minutes. We're gonna do it. You're like, what? We're gonna take 5 minutes. Yes, we're gonna take 5 minutes to do this, folks. We get it. We smell. You're gonna connect with as many folks in the 100 devs group as you can. Hopefully, folks that you've interacted with. We're gonna go ahead and do that. We've already been going for a little bit, so we'll put 3 minutes on here. Remember, approve your connections right now. Approve your connections right now, and then endorse folks. So take 3 minutes. Let's do this. Oh, that'd be a good channel points redemption. Hold on. I'm going to do that. I think that's fun. We can do a channel points redemption where Leon adds you on LinkedIn and endorses you. If you graduate, that's going to happen anyway. I'm going to add everyone. I'm going to endorse you, and I'm going to leave a message on your profile. So if you graduate in good standing, I add everyone. I'm going to endorse you for everything, and then I am going to leave you a message, like a recommendation. Please accept you to the group. Let me go ahead and do that. If you're new here, let me accept you to the group. Pull this over here. All right, we had 11 new requests. All right, you are all approved. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We had one more come in. Let me see. Approve. Boom. Alrighty, folks. Another minute 30. Add as many folks as you can. Endorse them. Node, React, JavaScript. Let's hack the system. They said we shouldn't do it, but we're going to do it. Take your gate and your backpack and get out of here. For having Grammarly installed, having job-related bookmarks, etc. I can't remember. Oh yeah, the reason why you have having another Google profile, it's just to make it a little bit easier on yourself. If you just want to have everything on one profile, it's okay. I like that one profile just for the job search, just because I can install all the plugins I care about. I can have it like focused. I don't wind up on Reddit or somewhere else. I just know if I have that profile up on focused, I'm doing the hunt. But it's up to you. If you feel like you can keep the focus and not worry about it, all good. Yeah, remember, you got to add the skills so people can endorse you. If you haven't added the skills, you have to do that. Go ahead and do that. I can't, it's so wild. So many folks have been getting just like recruiters already reaching out just from this one little hack. Whew. Let's go, baby. Let's go. To all the new folks, welcome Saturn, Odd, Moonlemur, Bruce, Pengus, Angelito, R23111. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Pasmin, welcome. Alrighty, come on back, folks. Come on back. We got a lot more to get to tonight. Got a lot more to get back to tonight. Let's chill the music. Izzy, you already had a recruiter reach out. Nice. Probably React.js, but either's probably fine. Do more endorsements look better? For robots, yes. The robots don't really care about the optics. They just like, oh, the robots crawl your profile. They see that you're a software engineer. They see that you're endorsed for that skill, and then you get like an auto message. All right, which is good because those auto messages can start a relationship with the recruiter, which can lead to a job, especially if you're doing the method I tell you where you just have a canned response. So it doesn't take too much of your time, but it leads to building some relationships that you might not have had. What if you have a current coworkers on your LinkedIn and you don't want them to know you're looking to make the switch? That's where maybe you have like a freelancing section where you just have like freelancing, and so anybody can be like freelancing on the side. I think that's how I recommend most folks to do it. All right. I understand correctly, you add JavaScript, React.js, Node.js as skills. Yep. And then folks will connect with you and endorse you for those skills. All right, folks, let's keep going. Remember, we're committing here. Who pushed today? If you pushed code today, put pushed in chat for me, please. Put pushed in chat today. Let's see. And I'm gonna find. I got all your GitHubs. I got all your GitHubs. Don't lie. I got all your GitHubs. Look at this wall of pushed, folks. It just doesn't end. It just doesn't end. If you're going to push after class, if you haven't pushed yet and you're going to push after class, put I'm going to push. Gonna push. Gonna push. Finna push. Finna pushed. And then you can say donna pushed. Beautiful. Love to see it. We do this. We do this every day because we know the recruiters love those green squares. They love them. They love those green squares. I pushed my first React app today. Let's go. Congrats. That's awesome. Yeah, you can push to a private repo. That works. You don't it doesn't have to be in the open. If you don't feel comfortable putting it in the open, you can push to a private repo. That still counts. It still works. That's it. How do I connect? How do we connect to you in GitHub again? You can like star my profile if you want. It's just leonnoel.com/GitHub. But you know. All right, remember, some folks are submitting 400 plus applications and not getting anywhere because they don't have a hit list. They're not focused. They're not focused, folks. The hit list focuses you. You can do !sheet SHEET to get that hit list. You're going to use the sheet. Click the link. You're going to use the sheet. Click the link. You're going to use the sheet. You got your contracts signed, Miss Turner? That's awesome. Let's go. Let's go. That's awesome. Let's go. Make sure you're using the sheet. The reason why you're using the sheet is so that you can be focused not only in your networking, but in your hit list. You're going to start looking for these actual places to apply, folks. Remember, you're looking for 60 recommended applications where somebody recommended you to the position. Hasora, hey, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. Jimmy said, is everyone pushing Code Wars to GitHub? I think that's what you're probably going to be pushing every day. Every day it seems like your code challenges, any projects that you've worked on, things like that. And then eventually your 100 hours project becomes a thing that you push pretty much every day. All right. We're going to have a whole class on kind of like adding things to your hit list. Like we're going to have like a Friday session on that. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. It's something that you want to get kind of a little bit more comfortable with, like finding companies. And this process starts kind of now. Well, it starts now. You want to start finding companies that you know you're going to want to apply to that have open roles that are good kind of like entry-level software engineering roles, not like staff or principal engineer. You want to start finding them, finding the people that work at that company, following them on Twitter, finding their email, asking them for coffee chats, and building up, right? Your networking now should be targeted. Before you are showing up at events and doing one of these. That was you at events, no more. Now you are on the hunt. You are doing the outreach. You are building a list of 60 companies you're going to apply to that have open roles. You're hunting down the hiring manager. You're hunting down the engineers. You're hunting down the recruiter. You're hunting down their mama. You're adding them to your hit list. You're following them on Twitter. You're finding their email. You're asking for coffee chats. You're sending thank yous so that when you're ready to apply, you get recommended. This is part of the hunt, folks. Now, one of the things about the hunt is that you need a range of companies. Don't just go after FANG, right? Like that's the dream that a lot of people are trying to sell you on. It's not the dream I'm trying to sell you on. I want you at a nice, medium-sized company that supports entry-level engineers, that will make you a good salary, a comfortable work environment where you feel supported. That's what I want for you. That's the dream. So I want you to have a range of companies, smaller startups, medium-sized companies, and a few aspirational companies as well. Don't let me be the gatekeeper to your success, right? Have some aspirational, have a big chunk of like realistic opportunities, and then a few kind of like startup-y type roles. So we're going to have a whole class on like how to target companies, how to do this part of the hunt. But you want to start looking for a range of companies. Okay. And if you ever just click apply, all right. We talked about this idea of 30 high value applications and 10 premium applications and then 20 regular applications. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We're just not going to come out the gate going for the company that we really, really want to work for. We're going to get our feet wet. We're going to get used to the process with another company. So going a little bit fast through this because I want to get to the important meat potatoes for this evening. Remember, I need you to think this weekend about your 100 hours project, the thing that you're going to be excited to build, right? You're going to sink 100 hours into. This weekend, I'm asking you to come up with a description and a wireframe for it, right? A description and a wireframe for it. That way I can start to kind of help you massage that idea. I'll say it again. If you want to find your ideal company, try to think if you had infinite budget, time, no responsibilities, etc., what sort of company would you want to build? That can help you find what kind of company you would like to work for. That's awesome advice, Alyssa. I really like that. Cool. I click apply, nothing happens. I fill in the black spot that says who referred you, and I hear back in 24 hours. I'm telling you, folks, it's the cheat codes. I'm giving you the cheat codes to getting jobs, the cheat codes to life. Blank spot. I thought you meant like the radio button or something. And some folks put in this work, some folks don't, but Beast Mode gets jobs. All right. This is where we kind of ran out of time last class and what I wanted to get into. Can you go back to the previous slide? You can control the slides if you like, just by removing the live portion here, and then you have full control over the slides. But this was the previous one. You owe me a description and a wireframe this weekend. Yeah, so if you do exclamation point slides, you can remove that /live and have full control over it. All right. Here is where we kind of ran out of time. So I want to spend the next half an hour or so talking through the process and the 2 strategies that you need to start living and breathing today. Whenever you do a Code Wars, you're going to do this. Whenever you talk about yourself in terms of interviewing or jobs, you are going to do this. It needs to be something that just comes instinctively out of you, right? Comes instinctively out of you, and you don't ever even think about. All right. We talked about the process. The process for finding a job is that you apply, get recruited, or recommended. In this case, we're all going to get recommended to our jobs. There's a phone screen where they just ask you some questions about your experience, your background. They ask you questions about maybe some light behavioral questions. Behavioral questions are the questions that are here on the bank. These are these questions. I have 22 questions here that I need you to prep. And we're going to talk about how to prep these questions in a bit. Now, the reason why you put so much effort into prepping these questions is because it gives you a bank of things to refer to. So even if you get asked a question that's not on this list, you already know the things that you're going to say to answer that question. So your behaviorals will come smoothly. During your interviews, you'll probably be asked some technical questions. Things that aren't like you getting on a whiteboard or actually coding things out, but they're just trying to suss out what you know and how much you know. And that's where all of these technical questions come into play. Once again, not every question is going to be on this list, but this gives you enough stuff so that when you do ask questions, right, gives you enough stuff so when you do ask questions, when they do ask you questions, you have enough things to pull from. Next is the take home, where they're going to actually ask you to code stuff. And then you might have, if we all kind of get vaccinated and go back into the real world, a whiteboarding interview, right? Where you show up in person and they ask you to write your code on a whiteboard and you're talking through your problems, right? This is a whole skill in and of itself. You might even have an in-person interview where it's just kind of like back-to-back interviews. My favorite, the wine and dine interview, where they know they want you, so they're trying to get you to join the company, and then an offer. We're going to have classes on kind of each part of this process to get better at it. Negotiating offers is a whole art in and of itself. Whiteboarding is a whole art in and of itself. Passing behavioral interviews is a whole art in and of itself. And so our Friday sessions are going to be us practicing. But tonight we're going to get some practice. Now, since some folks are already getting interviews, this is one of the most important things I need you to remember. Once you get an interview, you must ask your contact, what are the steps in this process? If it's a recruiter, hey, what are the steps in this process? If it's any contact you have at that company, what are the steps in this process? They will almost always tell you, oh, you should expect a behavioral interview, a technical take-home, and then an in-person whiteboarding session. You should never show up the day of an interview and not know what you're about to do. You should always have a good idea of what you're about to do when you show up. Now, they might switch it up on you. They might lie. They might not give you all the truth. But I feel like so many people have this anxiety the night or two before the interviews. And a lot of that anxiety comes from they just don't know what to expect. Ask, what are the steps in this process? And they will tell you. All right. This is where I lose some folks. And then we're getting into those two big things. Why would they not tell us? Because some companies are dumb. They just are. They think, well, we'll get a better quality of engineer if we trick them. And you're just like, well, that's definitely a culture I don't want to work for. A lot of companies are lazy. And they don't change their process. So they're afraid that their process is out there in the wild already. Surat, hey, thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending Jeff Bezos' money. I appreciate it. Just chipping away at Amazon. I love it. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Right. And so the idea is that a lot of folks are just lazy. Their process is already out there, which leads us to my first recommendation. Find everything about their process. There's a good chance the questions you're about to be asked are on Glassdoor. There's a good chance that the solutions to the code challenges are on GitHub. And there's probably somebody that has written out the entire process in excruciating detail on Blind, which is another app. So when you know you have an interview coming up, I highly recommend you Google, like, somebody's going to pay you, somebody's going to pay you $80,000 if you find the answer, because that's what happens. If you find the answer, somebody pays you $80,000, right? Plus, if you did find it. So this is where I lose a lot of people. A lot of people are like, Leon, is that cheating? Is that getting? I was like, no. If the company's dumb enough to leave all this stuff up online, they're helping me. They want to help me. They want me to find it. They want me to find it, or else they would change their process. Right? Because guess what I'm going to do on the job? On the job, I'm going to Google everything. So they're just preparing me for being on the job. Because when I don't know something, when I'm anxious about something, I'm going to Google the hell out of it. And so they're preparing me. You're going to find stuff the majority of the time. You should do it. All right. Now, here's the big things I want us to get through tonight. And then I want us to practice them together. Right? These are huge. These two techniques have changed the most amount of lives I've ever seen. Right? This is the reason why hundreds of my students have gotten jobs. Is because of these two tips. They're all using the bank, right? They're all using the bank. So when they show up to behavioral interviews, it's not like an accident. When they show up to technical interviews, it's not an accident. They live, eat, and breathe the bank for weeks, so that when they show up in interviews, it's butter. It comes out like butter. It comes out smooth. And when things come out smooth, people think you know what you're talking about. That sniff test, that they just smell a sweet, fragrant aroma. They smell confidence. They smell, what is that? Is that knowledge? They smell knowledge. They smell ability. They smell somebody they want to work with over the next 2 years. Just because you memorized some questions and you threw them in their Anki. We're gaming the system, folks. Now, the next thing my students do is they have three acronyms drilled into their brain. CAR, EU, and PrEP. CAR, EU, and PrEP. So I broke these down. We're going to spend more time on these tonight. CAR. Cause, action, result. When you're going through your behavioral questions, right? When you're going through your behavioral questions, each one of these questions should have 3-sentence answers. Every single one of these should have a 3-sentence answer. Leon, should I add more? No. 3-sentence answer. Right? You're going to have the cause, the action, and the result. Right? The cause, the action, and the result. And you're going to have 1 sentence for the cause, 1 sentence for the action, and 1 sentence for the result. And you're going to have them so drilled into your brain that somebody's going to bump into you in the supermarket, and you're going to be like, oh, and you're going to start rattling off your 3 sentences. Right? 3 sentences, no more, no less. Most people suck at behavioral interviews. Most people are really, really bad about talking about themselves. Like vomit on themselves, slap your mama bad. Right? Most people either talk too little about themselves or talk too much about themselves. And just like Goldilocks and the Three Little Bears, one's a little too little, one's a little too big, one's just right. That's 3 sentences. 3 sentences are just right. Now, the reason why we stick to car in 3 sentences is because most interviewers will not dig. Most interviewers will not dig. You're going to give them an answer. And since you're calm, cool, and collected because you've memorized these out the wazoo, you're going to sit there and say your first sentence. You're going to have a nice poised pause. You're going to say your second sentence, nice, poised, pause. And then you're going to say your third sentence. And that's taken up enough time where the interviewer feels like you have satisfied their question and they move on. It's about getting past the sniff test, folks, and car gets you through this easy. Now, will sometimes they dig? Yes, let them dig, but it only happens like 10% of the time. All right, cause. Here are the 2 really important sentences to have in your vocabulary when it comes to cause. At my last company or at my last opportunity. There is no reason for you to say at 100 devs or during my boot camp. If you ever say the word boot camp during an interview, you have lost. The hunt is over. Time to go home. Tam Sauce, hey, thank you for the prime. Thank you for spending Bezos's bucks. All right. So you say at my last company, at my last opportunity, and then you talk about what happened. All right. Now, occasionally they will dig. That's okay. You can explain 100 devs. You can explain the bootcamp that you went through. That's okay. But 90% of the time, they'll just take what you say and keep it moving. Right? Specifically through these behaviorals. Right? Specifically through these behaviorals, they're just trying to make sure that you kind of know what you're talking about and get you to in front of the engineers that are going to make the actual decisions. What about saying I'm self-taught? I try to stay away from that even as well. I would always use words like at my last company, my last opportunity, these types of things. And if they want to dig, then let them dig. Cause. Action. So if we look at one of these behavioral questions, give an example of an important project goal you reached and how you achieved it. So your 3-sentence answer would be, all right, at my last opportunity, I built this app. What action did you take? I rallied my team to build this app. Right? So like, what did you do? It must be positive. Do not talk bad about yourself. These behavioral questions, right? These behavioral questions are your time to shine. Do not fumble and say, well, it didn't really work out. I didn't really know. There's no time to be humble during the hunt. Right? No time to be humble during the hunt. You're saying what happened? You're saying the action you took that makes you seem like God's gift to earth, the action you took, and then the result. How are you better because of it? How is your team better because of it? And how are you the best thing since sliced bread because of the action you took? I lose some folks here because they're like, I don't know, like, if this is hard for you, this is why we prep. Do you think that we are pandemic bred is a plus? I think it's a plus. I think it's a huge plus. Because you know what most folks did during the pandemic? They weren't pushing their brains every day to learn this stuff. Netflix. Yeah, it was a whole lot of Netflix. It was a whole lot of Netflix. All right. Cause, what happened? What actions you take? Result, why are you better because of it? Let's do it live, folks. Let's do it live. We got 22 questions on this list. I'm putting myself out here. I'm going to be vulnerable. Let's go ahead and do it live. Let me copy this. I'm going to show you how it's done. All right. And then guess what we're going to do on Remo, folks? Guess what we're going to do on Remo? 7. All right, let's see what 7 is. Give an example of an important project goal you reached and how you achieved it. All right. So this is a great question. Important project goal you reached and how you achieved it. At my last opportunity, I had the privilege to run an engineering team that resulted in a product that helped over 4,000 different universities bring their scientific research online. As an engineering manager, I was able to bring a team of engineers from junior to senior into that project, craft the vision, craft the work that we got done into a product that was supporting all the major universities you can think of: Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Oxford, on this platform. Over the 5+ years I was a manager at that company, I learned how to ship product, build teams, right? Build teams, and to always put my customers first to deliver fantastic results. Right? So I'm trying to hit the car there. What was the cause? Well, we built this project that helped bring 4,000 different universities online. What did we do? Well, I built a team that helped do it, and I learned how to do all these fun stuff. Right? Now, that was off the dome. I haven't prepped these in a long time. You will have these dialed in. Let's do another one. 18. What do we got for 18? All right. Tell me about your dream job. What do you really want to do with your career? All right. At my last opportunity, I had the ability to support hundreds of students in learning how to code and unlocking the careers of their dreams. I worked with a small team to build the curriculum, the training, the tools that they needed to get good jobs. As a result of that, I feel as though I am a good engineering manager, someone that can build wonderful teams. And in the future, I want a career where I'm uplifting others to pursue a job that pays well and makes them happy. That's 3 sentences. I know it sounds like it wasn't 3 sentences, but I was very, very careful to only do 3 sentences because I saw you in the chat. That was 3 sentences, right? I got my cause in there. What did I do? What the action I took, and what was the result, and what do I want? Let's do another one. I'm doing it live, folks. I'm putting myself out here. There's 300 plus of y'all out here. But I hope you see that I'm smooth with it. It looks easy. It flows. No hiccups. No, I'm in an island. I got this on the block by myself. Let's do another one. Mark with the hydration. Cheers to you. All right, we got a 13 here. Cheers to you, Mark. Appreciate it. Matias. All right, 13. What we got for 13? Oh, this is the worst one. This is the one that everyone hates. Now, before I answer this one, what are some things that I keep repeating? Chat, have you noticed something that I keep repeating? What there's a couple of things I keep repeating at my last opportunity until I start, but there's something I want every interviewer to know. I want every interviewer to know something about me. Peanut got it. I'm a leader and I enjoy leading teams. I'm a leader and I enjoy leading teams. I keep mentioning this. I keep mentioning engineering manager. I keep mentioning these things because what type of role am I going to be applying for? If I am ever graced to not do the things that I do every day with wonderful aplomb and love in my heart, if for whatever reason I wasn't able to do that, I'm applying for engineering manager roles. So guess what? Guess what I'm going to repeat over and over again in my answers? I'm a team lead. I'm an engineering manager. I've built teams because that's the type of role I'm going after. And guess what? When you're done your interviews, the interviewer says yes or no. They either say yes, like hire, or don't hire. Now there's some gradients where they say like strong hire or not so strong hire. And they're going to write a note about you. Well, guess what my note is going to say? Guess what my note's going to say? My note's going to say strong hire, led teams, and is looking to be an engineering manager. Great hair. Right? And it's not because that's what they think. It's because I said it 4 times. I said it smoothly. I said it confidently. And that's what they're going to pick up. That's all they're going to remember. Right? I love the formatting of the answers, but I fear that after a few questions and it will be apparent that you're using the same format to answer each question. Thoughts? No. As long as you have practiced this, it sounds natural. And when you're actually talking to another human and not just like a screen, it's a little bit easier to like have that more natural reaction and to kind of feed off of what the energy they're giving you. They'll ask follow-up questions, so it becomes more natural. Nobody's just asking you like questions back to back to back, and you're like, cause, action, result. Next question, car, action, result. Like there's a little bit more. There's a little more nuance to it, and so that's why we're going to practice it with real humans on Remo after this. So everyone hates this question. Tell me about yourself. Over the past 10 years, I've had the wonderful privilege to build strong engineering teams and support folks on their journeys into engineering. I am looking for a company that values education, that values supporting the individuals that work there. And I'm looking for a team where I can build wonderful products that impact real users on a day-to-day basis. Right, that's my answer to the tell me about yourself. Right, and that's off the dome. This is stuff that I've drilled a lot in the past. Right, let's do one more. Let's see if we can get like a real question I can really use some car on. One more, and then we'll move on because we have one more thing we got to get to tonight. Ten. If it's not a real question, we're gonna do another one. Ooh. All right. Tell me about a situation when you made a mistake at work. What happened exactly? How did you deal with it? And what steps did you take to improve the situation? Great question, Bob. Tell me about a time when you tell me about a situation where you made a mistake at work. At my previous company, I pushed a breaking bug to production. As soon as that bug got pushed to production, our site went down, and I put in an all-nighter bringing the site back online and putting in a system so that no other engineer on the team could ever do the same thing. So through that experience, I learned how to build production-ready code that's resilient and makes it so that members of my team and myself can't ever push breaking code to production. 3 sentences, folks. Car, what happened? Pushed a breaking bug to production, brought everything down. Action, what did you take? I fixed it, and I stayed up all night to fix it, and I put in a system so that it never happens again, right? And that's why I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best you've ever seen. I'm the golden god, because not only did I fix it, but I made it so that no one ever has to suffer through the same thing again. Car, cause, action, result. 10-second warning. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One job, please. One job, please. One job, please. Smooth, easy, comes naturally, and it will for you too. Leon, this is all great. I love your answers, but I'm wondering about how some of us who have not been software engineers before should go about answering these questions. So you're tailoring your answers to the job that you want. My job would not be maybe an entry-level software engineering role. I'll be going for engineering manager role. So my answers are going to be slightly different. But all of you will have worked on real code. You all have worked on real projects. Things have gone wrong. Things have not worked out. You have all these experiences. If you've been showing up to these classes, you've been doing the work and the reading, you have a 3-sentence answer to all of these questions. And that's why we put in the time now. We don't want to have to be thinking about these things off the dome. Because if we're put on the spot and we have to think about these things off the dome, it's not going to work out. So we're going to craft our answers to each and every single one of these questions. Every single one of these 22, questions will be crafted. I think a lot of your answers are going to come from the work you do during this bootcamp. Whether it's through your 100 hours project, whether it's through the teams that you'll be working on as we continue, whether it'll be through your freelancing, or whether it'll be through the work that you do on our startup and our agency. All of these are real, tangible experiences that you should be baking into these answers, right? And it's not like this is going to be a static 22. You're going to, as you get more experience, you change them, you modify them. If you had fun or good experiences from your previous roles or opportunities, you should throw them in here as well, right? But the reason why you have these ahead of time is because most people suck at these questions. Like, they're just not good at them. And so I'm giving them to you now. I'm giving you the framework of CAR so that you can think through these answers. And then we're going to practice them together. We're going to review them together. You're going to work on them with other folks so people can say, that's actually not the best of answers, or here's how I would tweak it, right? In my last job, I emailed a coworker complaining about a cheapskate lead and realized I sent the email to the cheapskate lead. I called him during a lunch break and apologized, talked up our company, and got the client in the end. That is a beautiful car. That is a beautiful car answer. All right. We are going to take a break. We're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we're learning the last of the 2 mnemonics that we need to get a job. We're going to see them in some detail. We're going to practice them a little bit, and then we're going to get on Remo and practice them live with each other. Hope you're having a little bit of fun. That was stressful. Thank you for being here. Let's put some time on the clock. Leon, this is golden. I feel like I can use this even for my scholarship application. Heck yeah, let's go. Good luck with that application. All right, I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock here, folks. If you're able to, please hydrate, take care of yourself, get a little stretch in, let your eyes relax, and we'll be back in 5. Hey, Reggie added 2 minutes to the timer, so this is actually now a 7-minute break. Cool. When's the next Code Wars rank update? Next Friday. Next Friday will be the next update. Ooh, why didn't this start? Ooh, there you go. Hey, then, do you think it would make sense that if we spend these $100 building something we want to do, like there's a specific app idea that I have and think it will be good, do you suggest waiting on that and putting it off or starting with it? Start it right now. If you have a good app idea that you want to build and you're excited to build it, start building it. You can build just the front end at first, the HTML, the CSS, get a good idea, get your wireframes going. Yeah. I'm new to coding, but I've been around the block when it comes to applications and interviews. I hope all y'all younger folks are paying extra close attention. Hey, let's go. My brain goes to mush the minute I have to interview, no matter how prepared I feel. How do we combat that? You're going to interview a metric ton before you actually show up in a real interview. You're going to have all these questions memorized. You're going to have a series of algorithmic challenges that you've memorized. You're going to be repeating these throughout, and you're going to have lots of practice interviews with folks here in 100 Devs. So we're going to have whole nights where we just practice interviewing with each other, getting out all of the goosebumps, getting out all the sillies, and making sure that we're ready, rocked, and ready to go. How many channel points are we thinking for that LinkedIn redemption? I'm not sure. It has to be a big one, though. It has to be a big one. M's the bomb. Hey, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. What are the most important specs in a laptop? A decent processor, a decent amount of RAM, and an SSD. You can have an old laptop with an SSD. It's like breathing new life into it. Yeah. I'm going to have a whole video on it coming out hopefully next week. I'm really excited about it. Put a lot of effort into it. I want to build something that helps with a medical diagnosis. Will this get me in a sticky spot? Depends on how you talk about it and what it is. I think things that you're really passionate about are the best thing to build. Yeah. How are you doing? I'm chillaxing. I'm chilling. It's been a great week. I love sharing all this stuff with you. Hopefully you're getting excited to start the hunt. The missus comes back tonight. I'm super excited. I get my vaccine tomorrow. Life is good. Can't complain. Does LinkedIn come free with the OnlyFans redemption? Yeah, I'll throw that on top. Diabolical. Do you think putting your resume in the media section of LinkedIn okay? Probably doesn't hurt. Yeah. Have you looked into Apple's M1 Max? Yeah, I really like them. I think that for the base model, which is like $999, something like that, it really can't be beat right now. It's really hard to beat that right now. And I was always one of those people that like grumbled and hated Macs until I actually started using Macs. Now I'm like in the ecosystem. But I think that M1 Mac is like top right now. It's really hard to beat it. Now you can beat it in certain specs, but overall ecosystem, battery life, it's the perfect package right now. Leon, how do we know what kind of companies we should be applying to? Folks that have open entry-level software engineering roles that are in the area where you want to apply. That's who you're applying to. Now finding them is hard. It's difficult. You got to be trolling the interwebs. We're gonna have a whole class on how to find them, but you want to start on the big job boards. You want to start You want to start by building out your network on Twitter, things like that. No class tomorrow, Destroyer. I'm getting my vaccine, so no class tomorrow. I'll 1v1 you for a LinkedIn connection. So me and Chop have been talking about chess, and so we're definitely going to do a chess tournament, which I think will be fun. And then somebody shared a 5v5 easy pickup game for CS:GO. So since both of those things are free now, we're gonna do a fun night where we do that as well. Can we get a channel point YOLO? I'll prep one for next week. I'll have one for you for sure. What if you are really passionate about nothing? I'm finding it really hard to find something I'm passionate about due to depression. I feel you. What's something that annoys you? Because an equally great project could be something that annoys you. If something annoys you, that could be a good project. How can you fix that thing? So if it's not something you're passionate about, maybe it's something that you don't like or something that annoys you, something you wish was better. Those can all be great projects. How do I get access to this doc? Go ahead and do !sheet, SHEET. It'll give you access to the doc. Why is having a sheet of potential interview questions the most controversial thing you've encouraged? I don't think the sheet is the most controversial thing. I think probably the most controversial thing is Googling and finding all the questions that the company is going to ask you. That's really controversial. The sheet is, though, a lot of engineers hate this idea. A lot of engineers feel like this is cheating. They feel like you're prepping for the test and not actually learning. That's what they think. But if you actually do all the questions like I tell you to do, you learn a hell of a lot. So I don't see it that way. And I think it's overwhelmingly helpful. I'm 2 months into working with a startup. We haven't received funding, but I'm getting to work on so much. Should I go hard on applications and try to move on? I think that's really personal. You can talk to me. We can talk through it. Depends on how close the funding is, but most startup founders will always dangle that carrot to get folks to do more before it comes through. It's a hard question. Alrighty, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. I agree. I don't know why, but I've had a lot of people reach out to me say this is a bad thing, and I just ignore them. All right, folks, welcome back. Hope you had an extra long break. Thanks to who actually redeemed the timer. Thanks to Hey Reggie. Thank you, Hey Reggie, for the longer break. Miriam, thank you for the posture check. Hold on, let me get my stuff right. Hey. All right, there we go. All right, folks, welcome back. Let's get into this. Alrighty. What I would like for us to do is to look at these next two acronyms here so that we can keep them memorized. EU is explanation, use, example. So it's the idea that when you get asked just a regular technical question, maybe one of the technical questions that are on the sheet in the bank, you're going to give an explanation, you're going to talk about a use and an example. All right. So you have CAR for your behavioral questions. You have EU for your technical questions. Let's do it. So explain CSS sprites and how you would implement them on a page or site. Remember, we're trying to do an explanation, a use, and an example. Okay. So explanation, what are CSS sprites? A CSS sprite is, well, we can talk about sprites. So sprites are when you have multiple images, and instead of having multiple images, you put them in one image, right? Now, the reason why, like the use case for putting your images into one image, is that you have less requests that are being made. So instead of requesting maybe 10 or 20 different images, if you have all the images on one image file, that's one request, right? Which can lead to better load times. And then an example of when you might actually see these sprites in action is if you ever go to Amazon and you see like Amazon's logo, you see the Amazon gift box, actually all of those images are actually just one image, one sprite that has all those different logos and flourishes on one image. So Amazon makes one request, can use all those images throughout their page, and so that's it. So that's what we're talking about here. Gave an explanation, you gave a use, and you gave an example. You're going to want to do that for all of the questions that are on this list. An explanation, a use, and an example. You just can't explain what it is. This is where you get got. This is where you get got. If you just explain what it is, they'll go, great. When would you use it? Or where have you used it? So you need to have not only the explanation, like what the answer is, you need to know how you would use it and an example. That's why this becomes a little bit more of a time-consuming endeavor, because you don't want to be in an interview just like trying to rattle off trivia answers here. You want to really understand the answers, when you would use them, how you would use them. Cool. So that's a big one. This you can prep. Car you can prep. If you prep car, and you prep EU for all of these questions, I guarantee you make it through interviews. I guarantee you'll make it through callbacks. I guarantee that you'll get past your first round interviews. All it takes is using the bank, prepping car, prepping EU, and you will get through interviews. Now, there's one last thing in your way, and that last thing that's in your way is technical interviewing. There's a couple ways that you'll do technical interviewing. One could be using a whiteboard. One can be using a take-home. One can be using pair programming. They're all different ways that people test whether or not you can code that's like actually a technical challenge. So whiteboarding is interesting. Whiteboarding really isn't happening right now because of the pandemic. But the technique we would use on the whiteboard, we can use in our take-homes, and we can use it in our pair programming sessions, and we can use it in our like live coding assessments. Okay. So let's talk about whiteboarding as a skill. We're going to talk about a mnemonic that'll help you not only with whiteboarding, but any coding challenge that you do. And then we're going to leave here and go to Remo to practice. All right. If you make it through your behavioral questions and your technical questions, often you'll find yourself in a whiteboarding interview. Whiteboarding is kind of becoming less valued in the industry, but I would say like 80% of the students I see go into some sort of interview before the pandemic. I would say like 78% of them did wind up on a whiteboard or something similar pre-pandemic. During the pandemic, you're not really seeing whiteboarding anymore, but the skill set kind of carries over to a coder pad or your text editor, things like that. So I'm going to very briefly tell you about whiteboarding just in case it comes up later in your interviewing scene. But it's really important to note whether it's whiteboarding or it is solving a coding challenge in front of another engineer, that what is being tested is not only if you're able to answer the question, but what is also really, really, really being tested are your communication and your collaboration skills, right? Can confirm I had an interview today and had a whiteboard. What? That's wild. I can't tell you this. I can't say this strongly enough. It's not just whiteboarding. It is your communication and your collaboration skills. Here is how I've seen a lot of people do a whiteboarding interview. You ready? This is their face on the whiteboard, not talking to me for 20 minutes. Not a damn word. 20 minutes. And then they step back. The answer is only kind of correct. And they look at me and they're like, what do you think? I'm like, you kind of got it right. but I don't want to work with you for the next 2 years. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to collaborate, and it's not really correct. Here's the thing. Most interviewers will help you. Most interviewers will help you. The only way they help you is if you have been communicating and collaborating with them the whole time. I took 12 of my engineers to Google, and the person that ran the interviewing for Google Boston sat down and said, we're testing communication and collaboration skills, and we're testing, can you get the answer right? And we always give a hint. They said that they always give a hint. And I've seen this true for any company. If you've been communicating and collaborating, the interviewer will most likely give you hints to get you on the right path. But you only get the hints, and you only satisfy that second question of, do I want to work with you over the next 2 years, if you're communicating and you're collaborating. So how do we get through our whiteboarding, right, so that we can communicate and collaborate effectively? So I'm going to give you some actual whiteboarding tips, and then we're going to talk about how you establish communicating and collaborating early on. Ghost, I hope it went well. Hope you had a good run. All right, if you're on an actual physical whiteboard, one of the first things you should say is, hey, do you mind if I take some notes while you explain the question? Then you want to give a little sliver of your board, and you want to write down the things that they're asking you. If you're doing if you're not on a whiteboard, but you're doing a live coding challenge and you're in your text editor, you should have some comments that explain the question that they asked you. Nothing's worse than being 25 minutes into an interview and turning to your interviewer and going, what was the question again? What was the second part? Nothing worse. So please, as the interviewer is explaining the problem, write down the problem. Right? Write it down. Take notes on this side. The other thing, if you're on a whiteboard and you have to practice this, if you weren't blessed to have art lessons with nuns every weekend, if you didn't have that privilege, you probably suck at writing on a whiteboard. Most people just don't have good handwriting. They don't write clearly. It's something you have to practice. Thank you for the emotes, Will. It's something that you have to practice. You don't have to use a whiteboard to practice this. You can use a piece of paper, right? But you want to practice writing clearly writing out your code, okay? The other thing is, most people are not mindful of space. They either write too big or they write too small, and they're not being mindful of space. The only way that you get better at writing clearly, being mindful of space, is to practice. You have to practice. And so please, at home, if you're privileged enough to have a whiteboard, practice on the whiteboard. If you don't have a whiteboard and you're doing your code wars, please, for some of your code wars, write them out. Solve your code wars on a piece of paper with pen and paper. Get used to the idea that solving a coding challenge might not happen in your text editor. Get used to writing it out. Get used to writing on a piece of paper so that when you are physically applying, like when you're physically going through interviews and we're back in person, it's not something that's alien or foreign to you. It's something that you feel really comfortable with. Okay. Oh, also, I do not remember where these images came from. I am so sorry. I did not give credit for these images. I apologize. If anybody knows where these images came from, please let me know. I've had them in my arsenal for years. I don't know where they came from. I apologize. All right. Now, here's how you get good at the communication and the collaboration during an interview. It's something called prep. You're always going to prep for your interviews. Okay? Oh, sorry. Whoops. little Leon. I was hiding them. Sorry, I got excited. You're always going to prep for your interviews. Parameters, returns, examples, and pseudocode. Parameters, returns, examples, and pseudocode. For every problem that you have that is a coding challenge, you should work through prep out loud. Out loud. Even if you're doing a code wars in Starbucks, right? You're masked up, you're at Starbucks, you're doing your code wars. You should be talking out loud to yourself through prep. Okay? So what does it mean? Parameters are the values that you're taking into the problem, right? Like if your solution is a function, parameters are the values that are coming into that function. Now, why parameters are important is because parameters help you determine what to expect. So some very, very good questions to ask are, well, is it taking in a number? Is it a string? Is it an array? If it's a number, can it be positive and negative numbers? Is it always whole numbers? Will there be floated values? So it gives you a chance to build a rapport with your interviewer just by asking the questions about what's coming into the solution that you're about to write. Then you're going to say, hey, well, what am I returning? Am I returning a string, a number, a Boolean? All right, I'm returning a string. Will the string always be a string? Am I expected to ever return anything else? Will there ever be any scenario where it's not a string? Right? And so once again, it's very easy. It's a quick win. You now have a better idea of what's coming into the problem. You have an idea of what the interviewer is asking for you to spit out. And then you're going to work through some examples. All right, based on what I know what's coming in and I know what's going out, let me show you a few examples of what I think is going on. Now, the examples of what's going on are where you win. Because through these examples, you better understand the problem. And it's the place that most interviewers slip up and kind of reveal too much. They're going to tell you about how to solve the problem most of the time if you get them talking through the examples. All right, so 2 came in. This is what's coming out. What was the best way to get that result? All right, so you talk through some examples. Then you write some high level, what we call pseudocode. Pseudocode, remember, is just the plain English that we write about the problem that we're solving. Now, the reason we write pseudocode before we start writing any real code is because we can gauge the interviewer's reaction. We can see we've messed up. We can see that we've gone down a wrong path. And so prep should take you 5 to 10 minutes. If you have a full 30, 45 minutes for an interview, prep's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes, but you get so much out of it. You know what's going in, you know what's coming out, right? You know the examples, right? And you have some good pseudocode to kind of guide your process, right? Kesha Dorner said, I read that Google specifically asked interviewees to avoid writing pseudocode because they know the power of doing it. They know the power of what it does. They know that's where their interviewers slip up and go, actually, and tell you the answer, right? Now, if you can't write pseudocode, you are able to talk it out. Remember, interviewers are normally normal humans. They don't want to see you suffer or fail most of the time, like 95% of the time. They're going to help you. And the only way they help you is if you work through prep to get them talking, grease the wheels a little bit. All right. Let's prep something like FizzBuzz. So if I'm going to prep FizzBuzz, I'm going to say, all right, so what's coming in to this? What's coming into my function? My P. My P for prep. What's coming into my function? So for those that don't know FizzBuzz is a problem that says, taking a number and print all the numbers from 1 to that number. All right. So give me a function that takes in a number and prints all the numbers from 1 to that number. Now, instead of printing the number, if it's divisible by 3, like if that number that you're supposed to be printing is divisible by 3, print fizz. If the number is divisible by 5, print buzz instead of the number. And if it's not divisible, if it's divisible by 3 and 5, print fizz buzz, right, instead of that number. So you would go 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz, fizz, 7, 8, fizz, buzz, 11, fizz, 13, 14, fizz buzz, right? This is a problem that we've all solved in the past. So I know coming into this function is a number. So the question I would ask is, okay, so does this problem ever take in something that's not a number? Right? This is a great question. I'm getting my interviewer talking. No, Leon, you can always expect it to take in a number. Great. Will it always be a positive number since you're saying from 1 to that number? Will it always be positive? Yeah, it'll always be positive. Will it ever be a floated value or a decimal? No, it'll always be a positive whole number. Great. So I can feel pretty confident that I am taking in a number. Great. Next. I am returning all the numbers between 1 and that number, except that if the number is divisible by 3, so I'm just going to say num is divisible by 3, I give you fizz. If it's divisible by 5, I give you buzz. And if it's divisible by 3 and 5, I give you fizz buzz. Every other time, right? Every other time, I just print the number. Is that correct? Yeah. So I am returning to you either the number, fizz buzz, or fizz buzz. Crumb Hustler, sorry to hear that. Hope you feel better. Have a good night. Great. So now I know my parameters, like what's coming in. I know what I am returning, either fizz buzz, or a number. Then I'm going to say, all right, let me give an example. So if I take in the number 5, I would expect to see print it to the console 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz. And I would ask my interviewer, is that correct? And they would say, yes, that's correct. Then I would show another example. I'd do at least 3 examples. Now, chat, why do you think the examples are so important? Tickle, glad you're joining. Why are the examples so important? There's 2 really big reasons why they're important. Shows you understand communication, nice. Helps you define edge cases, something we're going to talk a lot about when we get to like algorithmic problems. Yeah, it shows that you understand the problem. And it's your receipts, folks. It is your receipts. If you solve the problem, there is no way they can walk back and be like, actually, that's not what I was thinking. Right? There's no way they can walk back. Hey, Simba. There's no way that they can walk back. Right? There's no way they can walk back and say, actually, that's not the problem I was thinking about. Nah. We talked through the examples. We said this was what works, this is what works, and this is what works. Right? So they've already agreed. So now you got your receipts. We already agreed that this is what we were talking about. That way they can't switch it up on you. And I really like what Constant Pro said. It keeps them saying yes. The more you can get an interviewer saying yes, the better this interview is going to go. So we got them saying yes about the parameters we were bringing in. We got them saying yes about the things we were returning. We got them saying yes about the examples. And then the last thing we would do is just kind of quickly write out some pseudocode, right? Take in num, loop, printing, num, or fizz, buzz, you know what I'm saying, fizz buzz, right? And maybe I would break it down a little bit more. Maybe have some like conditional logic, and we're just kind of like console logging, right? So this is kind of sped up a little bit, but the idea here is I would walk them through some pseudocode, and once again they're agreeing, yes, yes. Since you are asking them these questions, and you've been asking them for a while, they're going to feel inclined to help you. They're going to tell you if you're in the right path or not. They're going to give you tips or suggestions on how to change up your path. And you've taken like 5 or 10 minutes to do this, working through prep, and now you can actually start answering your question. This is also for you to get comfortable, right? This is for you to get comfortable too. If you know that you don't do well during interviews, prep is your saving grace. It enables you to talk with the interviewer, to get your feet settled, to let your brain think through the possible answer. You're not just like immediately going to the board and like trying to bang it out. No, you've talked through it. You got to know them. They saw your thought process. They can see that you know what you're kind of talking about. But this whole time you've been thinking, you've been trying to get tips, right? Prep will get you through your technical interviews, and you start practicing it now. You start practicing this now. What up, Ski? How you doing? You start practicing this now. When you are doing your code wars, please walk through prep. Walk through prep. You have to. You want, by the time you're going to have a month plus of doing prep every day, so that when you're on the job interview, prep just flows. It just flows out of you like butter. That's what we're trying to get for. So as you're pushing every day, as you are working through your problems, right? You're going to use CAR, you're going to use EU, and you're going to use prep. Start today. Say it out loud. Get comfortable with it so that by the time you're actually interviewing, it's easy. Yep, just basic, exactly. This has been so helpful, Gold. Hey, let's go. I'll take that. Techno Ghost with the hydration. Cheers to you. Hope you're doing well. Cheers. Alrighty. We had some questions in the Ask. I'm going to take a look at some of those questions right now. All right, so we had some questions here. I want to take 5 minutes for questions, and then we're jumping over to Remo. So as many questions I can get in these 5 minutes, and we're jumping over to Remo, because I want you to practice. I want you to practice CAR and prep tonight. Even if you only practice with us for 10 minutes, I want you to practice it. It's just this. Try some CAR, try some prep with another human being. We're going to practice it. So going to get through 5 minutes of questions, and then we're jumping over to Remo. Okay, but I ain't going to be comfortable today. That's all right. That's all right. All right, let's take a look at these. I'm going to see if I can power through these in 5 minutes. Let's go real fast. Thank you for being here, everybody. Let's stick together. Let's do this. Are you going to post the last Friday craft your story class on YouTube? It's on Discord. It's on Discord and unlisted. I'm not going to put it on like the actual channel just because I don't know. It's not edited, and I don't know if everyone feels comfortable being on YouTube. So it's shared on our Discord and it's unlisted. You can see it on the Follow Along Materials channel. Sorry. What is your best piece of advice for a college graduate who has no internships build a passion project, and work on an open source project. How would you go about making an e-commerce site for a client? I would use Shopify or some off-the-shelf solution and keep it moving. I'm already an IT professional with 5 years of experience, but I want to convert to software engineering. How can I phrase my existing experience in a way that gets me a better edge in the interview? So you're going to talk about the challenges that you solved, any of the code that you had to write, whether it's Python scripts, things like that. You're going to frame that all as software engineering experience. So if you want to craft your story, we'll have another crafting your story class, but I would lean into the code that you've been writing for the past 5 years in your system administration. Bash scripts, whatever it is, lean into that. All right. Keep it moving here, folks. Hang with us, and we're going to jump on Remo. It's important. Hey, Leon, I recently saw a job posting for a front-end engineer. It's for a company that has a really great mission statement and I really resonate with. They only ask for HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery. Is it still too early for me to apply to this job? It's not too early to apply. I think maybe for that very specific role you could. I really like folks to wait maybe like another month before they seriously start applying, because we haven't really done any of the CS fundamentals or the algorithmic challenges yet. We just learned about prep tonight. That's going to be really important. But we have to learn a lot of like algorithmic stuff, because even if it is a front end interview, there's a good chance that you have some sort of like algorithmic, algorithmic challenge. And exactly, we don't ever apply. So you should start the process of getting recommended, because you know that you're not just going to click apply. So you can start that process of getting recommended today. And by the time you get that wheel turning, you get the recommendation, you might be a little bit further along. You've talked about doing leak code later in the program because it's better interview prep than code wars. Are we approaching that point? Yes. In like 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to be doing more leak codes. Code wars will still be a thing, but we'll be transitioning to leak code a lot. If the hiring manager doesn't offer up information themselves, how can we find out the names of who will be interviewing you each round without sounding creepy? That's a great question. If it's a small company, you know who's on the team. You can look them up and maybe have a better idea. But typically I do exactly what you say. I asked, hey, can you tell me who I'll be meeting with? And if they say no, that's kind of awkward. So most of the time, like 90% of the time, they're going to tell you who you're going to be meeting with. So I would just ask, and on the rare situations where asking doesn't result in anything, then maybe you have to do a little bit more legwork, search them up on LinkedIn, like look who might be on the team that you're applying to. But 99% of the time, if you just ask, what is the process, and you ask who will I be talking to, you'll get the names. No need to worry about the edge cases where that doesn't work. How can you find out which team you're applying to and who's on the team before you apply? You ask, because remember, we don't apply, we get recommended, so you've already asked. Whatever contact you found, you ask them, hey, who's the team? What would it be? What do you do if you wind up with an offer from one of your practice companies? You celebrate, and you try to stall them as much as you can until you apply to the companies you really care about. But remember, it's business at the end of the day. There are techniques that we can do to stall if we want to, if we have other interviews lined up. A lot of times you can even defer. Some companies, after they've already made the hiring decision, they'll kind of keep like an open role for you. That's more like larger tech companies. But if that happens to you, let me know. I can help you finesse the situation. Can we get an example list of past 100 hours projects? I can put that list together for you. I rattled a bunch off last class, but I can give you a list for sure. Can we approve another round for the LinkedIn group? Already did, and I'll do another round after this class. How can we narrow down what companies we want to work for? My hit list would have every open entry-level engineering role in my city. And then I would narrow it down based on who I wanted to apply to or get recommended to. So at the beginning, just get them all on the list. Get every open opportunity that you think you're a good fit for onto the list, and then worry about narrowing it down. It should be JavaScript. It should be Node. It should be things that are in your wheelhouse. Anything other than that, right? Anything other than that kind of diminishes your chances. All right, there's some more questions here. I'm going to save them. I want to get over to Remo because we have like 15 minutes left. All right. I hope you got some value out of these last two classes. I hope revealing some of these secrets about the interview process, how it's not an accident, has been helpful. Exclamation point classroom will give you the link. Exclamation point classroom will give you the link. It's been incredible. Hey, I like that. Thank you so much. We're going to keep it going though. I want if you're here, please come practice with us. Click the link, come practice with us. We're going to get maybe 15, 20 minutes of practice in, and that's it. That's it. 15, 20 minutes. 15, 20 minutes of practice in. So come join us. All right, folks. I'm going over to Remo right now. It's been wonderful having you all. I will see you all on Remo now. So I'm going to end stream. I'm going to start streaming again on Remo. So I'll see you all over there in a minute. Exclamation point classroom, or you can click the link right here in the slides. It'll take you over to Remo. All right, folks. See you all over there. See you in a second. Peace.